into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I'm like, where's the song? But I forgot.
It's like,
wait for it.
It's like the
Matrix.
Your hero.
Hey.
I can lie.
hey.
Oh, we quite down.
Hey. Okay, that thing.
Best theme song.
You never know the song.
Hero. Oh, it's hero or healer?
I'm making it up.
You know, I don't know.
Anyway.
What is it, Dietrich Haddon?
Welcome.
You wrote it. You're singing
Welcome to the Preachers of L.A. after show.
Yep.
This is the finale, everybody. Give it up for the finale.
Finale.
Oh. And we have a full house. First of all, I'm your host, Lem Gonsalves, and right to the left of me is the beautiful, the talented Megan Thomas. What's up to me?
You see how I'm looking at y'all?
To the left, to the left.
Since y'all left me hanging last week.
Megan's a
But
little
you made
salty.
it, boo. You
Megan is
made
salty.
it.
with
But,
the
you know,
power of the low eyes.
Jesus just helped her.
Yes, that's me, Megan Thomas. What's up? I miss you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Megan held us down on the Sweet Home Alabama
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
I know, and I was
Yeah.
so mad because you weren't here because I was like,
I
this
know,
is your
I know.
episode.
My
Speaking
episode.
of, we also have the Williams in the house.
Yo.
Tiffany, what's up?
Tiffany over here, my lovely sister.
Corinne.
Ow.
So it's like a full house, and I'm so excited because I'm glad that we were all here together, especially because it is the finale. I'm a little sad because I'm gonna miss you guys
Like
on this show because this is literally like the funnest show.
This is
that
the
I
best show.
This is the best show.
It is, isn't it? Isn't it, Sean?
Yeah.
Hello? Our producer,
Ron
Sean, isn't it?
Burgundy.
It's
Sean.
a great show. You, ladies and gent,
Thank
are
you.
very entertaining.
Yeah.
You guys make me laugh out loud.
Super.
It's code word for crazy.
Code word
Thank
for
you.
ratchet.
AKA.
Cold word for I can't wait till we rap.
Well, let's talk about this show. And basically, the title of this show basically is Preach LA. That's what I'm calling it because the show was focused around that. They've been culminating and they've been talking about this for basically almost the whole season, I feel like.
Right.
And this has been a big event that's been spearheaded, of course, by Bishop Noel Jones and Loretta. Let's not forget about Loretta, which we'll get into.
Shady boots.
Right. Oh, man, she had some words today. But then also all the preachers were involved, and lo and behold, McLendon came through in the clutch.
Oh my God. Give me a break.
On me. I was so disappointed in seeing him. I'm
Okay,
like,
so
why is he
let's
here?
start there. What were your thoughts about seeing McLendon? Of course, Dietrich, he had his words. He was ready to argue right away.
And I was right with him.
And McLendon came up. What were your thoughts?
I thought
What were
that
your
was
thoughts?
inappropriate.
For
like,
who?
McLendon does not owe us an explanation. He doesn't owe them an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
He has a right to show up when he pleases.
No.
And he did so in style. Him and Priscilla just waltzed right in like, oh, look at that artwork. That's cute. That's cute for you guys.
So you were fine. You were fine with that.
I was fine with that, but I think I've come around and I'm on McLendon's team. Like, he's a
What?
busy man.
Wait, hold on a second. What's going
Right,
on?
right.
All
What?
the preachers
What
are
happened?
busy.
When did this happen?
Transformation.
Who
Like,
is this?
Did you?
It's not Transformation
Did
Tuesday.
you start going to his church? What's going on?
I should start going to his church. I think I just finally respected his position. He has been the same way throughout both seasons, unavailable, and so you just can't hate the man for that. It is what it is.
I just don't like the fact that he's on a show where you have to show your life because it's reality TV.
And he's
Why
not
are you
doing
on a
that.
show then? You don't.
Right.
You can be a secondary character then. You don't need to be one of the headline characters in this reality show. Take you and your wife off the beginning where y'all posing where they're
Right.
showing the whole cast of the show. You don't need to be on there. You should just be a secondary character that sometimes pops in and pops out.
So what are you saying? Do you want him off the show?
Absolutely, he
Do you
wasn't
feel like
on
he
the
shouldn't be
show.
on the show?
He wasn't on
Do
the
you
show.
guys feel like he didn't contribute
He
anything
did
at all?
absolutely nothing.
What
The
did he
only thing
contribute?
he did was the dinner with the future son-in-law, and we got to see 5.5 minutes of him giving some great advice.
Wait, we got to see his son The
Seth?
youngest and praying over
Okay,
the prayer
so
request.
boom, cat, dog, bye. We can see that on Instagram.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I liked seeing his well-to-do family. Like he seemed to have it
Well-to-do?
together, unlike any of the other cast members. And
Are you
I
serious?
appreciated it.
No.
What is wrong with
You
you?
think he had it together
I think
because we
she's-
never
yeah, she's
seen
on something
him.
else.
He
I need to
visited.
rebuke
Right,
the
right.
out of you
I
today.
rebuke ye.
I agree wholeheartedly
Y'all are
with
throwing
Dietrich.
shade at McLendon.
Okay,
No,
look.
no shade.
He should
Look.
not have
He should
approached
have not
him
been there.
That
He should have not
he could have let
partaken.
okay, a proper hello was not too much to ask for.
please.
I give you that.
Like he didn't have to jump on him as soon as he's walked into the
Yes,
room.
he did.
Right.
And
Dietrich, you was right.
there was a lot of confrontation happening though in this episode. Like hello, and I got words for you.
Right.
Like, from
Well, and then you gotta think about it though. Like, and we don't see all the meetings that they've had, and we don't see
Right.
all the preparation. We see it, here and there as it's talked about. But this was a large event. Even Maisha, when they got there, and Dominique was like, "We didn't know it was this big," because Loretta was kind of scolding them for
Right.
not helping out. So this was a big event, and for him not to come to any meetings and then show up in all his splendor,
Okay.
with his wife, like I could see them being a little salty. Now, of course, Dietrich, he's always turned up and he wanted to say something.
I love it.
Was it the right time? Maybe not. Maybe, whatever, but it was to be said. However, Dietrich actually ended up being the one to apologize to him,
Right,
which
right.
I thought was interesting because he said, look, I've said some things and, I find out now that I'm in error. So I just want to apologize. And he's like, well, you could have reached out or whatever. And I really think that McLendon was that way because of how he felt in the midst of all of them. I don't think he felt like he was a part of the
Right.
He
whole
did
body.
that to himself, though, in my opinion. He's the one who separated himself from the quote-unquote body by having his wife in isolation, never mixing and mingling
With the other ladies.
with the other ladies, and then just not being attentive and being present for the different meetings and filming, if you will, that was taking
Right.
place. So, boo, bye. I don't want to see him back.
I will say this. His excuse was, I've been busy.
Right.
Okay. I mean, you make time for what's important to you. So obviously the planning session of this was not important to you.
Do you believe he was in the air for 64 days?
He could possibly
I
have
could
been.
believe
Yeah,
that.
I can believe that a preacher that has a global ministry, I can believe that. What he did say that I respected was that, he said there's some things that I'm going to be a part of, and then there's some things that I'm not going to be a part of, but if I'm not there, it's not going to fail. And so I do believe that he understands that God places him where he needs to be. So in this moment, he understood that I wasn't supposed to be a part of the planning for this. This basically was just a gig where I'm supposed to come and preach, which preachers do that all the time.
Right.
I'm not a part of the plan. I'm just here. You invited me to come preach. That's it. Unfortunately, I can't be a part of what everybody else is a part of.
But they don't forget
Well,
to get
even-
their offering.
Even so, though, he was saying that you guys didn't really plan the meetings ahead of time. I knew about this Preach LA
Right,
way
it was
ahead
on
of
my
time,
schedule.
but the other meetings, were probably not organized, not planned ahead, or anything like that. So we don't really know the circumstances.
I think what kind of comes off with him is that he feels like, because these are all pastors. Noel Jones is a bishop as well. They all have large churches. They all are doing well for themselves. But I think he feels like he's above them in some
Yes,
cases.
absolutely.
Right, and that's why
and-
Dietrich
and-
went off on
right,
him. You
right.
came with an entourage, and
Right.
did nobody else come with an entourage
Right,
but you.
but you. So I think that's where he's coming from.
that sounds like shade,
Yeah.
honey.
It was.
I mean, but that's real
But
though.
it
Like
was
you,
real.
when you see
Exactly.
everybody else come in to preach
Right.
Preach LA with their families, it's
Right.
them and their wife, them and their
Right.
kids. He came in there with his wife,
Right.
With the
his
posse.
his
Clothes
what's
boy.
the arm bearer?
Armor bearer.
The armor bearer,
Right.
sister to the sister Karen.
Right.
Like all these
Club.
people, you had two carloads
His
full of
curl
people.
activator.
Right.
Okay, but why
carrier.
not? If I had money for all those people, you don't think I would be rolling up in there with an
Not for
entourage
Preach
too?
LA.
But
Why
did you
not?
see what he said though? He said, I
Not
paid
in
for them.
Gardena.
It's his team.
I paid for
Not
that.
in Gardena.
This is his
Not
a part of his
Gardena.
team. Like
Said
this
not
is
Gardena.
this takes us back to the original argument that him and Dietrich had in the first place about all these people that he traveled with that
Right.
come with his ministry. This comes with his ministry.
Well, see, this is how he
That's
rolls.
too
This is
much.
what he does.
He's not going to Africa.
Right.
He's going to Gardena.
Right.
If you feel like you need security,
but here's-
then get one homeboy to be your security person and protect you if you feel like you're about to get jacked.
That's not how he rolls, and he's like he treats Gardenia like Africa. Each sermon that he
Oh.
delivers is the same quality, and in order to do that, he has to have his people with him. That's what he says.
That's just
Team
too much.
McLendon.
Team, no.
But you know what? On a
you
side
crazy.
note, Christy is never at any of these events, and you guys aren't giving her.
But Christy
crap
is
about
not
it.
she's not a preacher.
She's a first lady who is
She's
quite absent.
Okay, she does. But here's the thing.
But she has
she's
been
not
there.
a preacher.
But she has been there.
Right, she hasn't, and she's not a preacher. These guys are called to preach and be out here doing this stuff. She's not called to do that. She's there to support her husband. Period.
Exactly.
And she says that.
This is what I have to say about
And she don't
McLendon.
care.
My thing is, this is
doesn't
my
care.
thing. If that's how he rolls, that's how he rolls. Everyone rolls differently in their ministry and how they do things. Again, he's part of this show. He decided, no one twisted his arm. He
Right.
volunteered to be a part of this show, but he was very absent from this show. So if I have an issue with anything, it's just the fact that I felt like he didn't give his all for the show like everyone else when it came
Right.
to talking about his life,
Agreed.
talking about things that was going on. That's the only issue that I would
Hence
have.
the reason why I feel strongly that he should not continue on for season 3.
I don't think he.
Sorry.
I think he probably won't.
I'm sure he
I'm
won't.
pretty sure they
already
phasing him
know.
out.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bye,
I'm sure he won't. I'm sure he
McLendon.
won't. Because if he did, it's like it's going to be in the credits and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be no point. So I want to segue into Miss Loretta. She had an
Gangsta Lolo.
She kind of went in. Dominique and Maisha came up. This is while they were preparing. They was getting the jumpers and everything. And of course, she was a little stressful with everything. You know, she was there from probably early in the morning, you know, running things. She was, you know, the liaison. She
Right.
was her position. She was supposed to be doing that. But she basically was supposed to get help from the first ladies, and no one showed up. And she, you know, and I believe her when she said, I sent emails, you know, there were things, you knew what was going on, but the ladies kind of showed up like, ta-da, we're here, what are you going to do? Mike's just like, I'm ready to sing, where's my stage? And Dominique's like, hey, I'm here with DJ, what's going on? So, and she was like, oh no. And she had some choice words.
Immediately.
Right, she did.
She had some, like, didn't bite her tongue, not whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, do you think she had every right to be in that right? In that
Hell
ring?
no.
No?
She just, I mean, I think she had a right to be angry, but the manner in which she delivered
That
her
she
message,
did.
very rude.
it was really off-putting. And I was thinking, like, if I was Dominique or if I was Maisha, what would I have done? You know, I'm not as saved as the two of them, and it might have been a whole different type of show. Because, and please bear in mind that these
Oh,
are
man.
adult women with children,
Right.
and I just was like, whoa, clutch, like,
Right.
Well,
relax.
and I think I understand why Loretta was mad, especially because she's like, hey, I'm not even a first lady, and I'm over here helping support our gentlemen who are preaching at
Right.
this event. I understand that. However, Loretta, honey, you should, if you need people to do stuff, you have to be very specific. You
Come
need
on
to
now.
say, Maisha, I need you to not only come and sing for us A and B selection, I also need you to bring a casserole to put at the bake sale table, or like you need to say that I need you to bring 500 plastic bags so we can give them with these clothes in. Like you have to be very specific what you want people to do when you have a big event, and I don't think she did that. I think she was general and said, hey, can you guys show up at this time, and
come
because I'm
help.
gonna need help setting stuff up. That's general. You don't really know what you're doing, so you're like, okay, I guess
Right.
I'll
But
come
do
in.
you remember when they had that lunch or dinner, the first ladies, and Maisha said, I remember her saying, well, I'm probably not going to be as involved for Preach
Right.
LA or helping you with Preach LA. So
Right.
it's like, does she get a pass? Because she was, you know,
Apparently,
Forthcoming.
she
She was
didn't.
straightforward.
She didn't
Right.
get a pass.
Well,
at
she
all.
should have
Right.
been able to get one. I feel like when you tell people, like
exactly.
they should respect
Like, don't
that.
expect me to
Like
be there.
Christy, don't expect her to be there.
Right.
She's not gonna be there.
She didn't get chewed out.
I know.
Well, she
But
wasn't
the
even there for
sisters
that.
Getting chewed out.
Right. She wasn't there for that.
But I did think she was out of line in how she approached it. Like I would not have handled it well if
She
if
was-
I said
yeah.
hello to you and this
Right.
is how we're starting off.
Right.
With you chewing me out.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry you're stressed.
Do you think that it comes
Yeah.
from some type of back end situation because she's not a first lady?
Oh
Of
yeah,
course,
of
yeah.
course.
And she's doing all this, and so it's like these are wives.
First
she's not
lady
a wife,
duties.
and she's pulling this weight, and they are not. So,
Well, she even said that in her testimonial,
Mm-hmm.
her little interview. She was like, I'm not even qualified to be doing this because
Right.
I'm not married,
Technically,
but I'm still
right.
doing
Yeah.
right,
everything.
right.
Right.
Doing Noel.
So, oh gosh. So, when she was talking to Noel towards the end, and he was kind of congratulating her on, you know, a job well done. I like how she slipped in. She said, "I did everything for this event without a ring." Like it was very subtle, but at the same time, did you catch that? It was like
Yes.
really fleeting.
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh wait, did she really say that?"
Did.
Rewind. Yes, she did. So, she is
Well, I
still wanting to get married. And
Okay, hold on,
it's like
Loretta, baby, that ship has sailed, honey.
Would you call her thirsty? Like, would you?
No, at this
is the
point,
thirst real?
it's just sad.
They
Is
were
it-
joking.
Very sad.
no,
No. There was.
no.
Show, were you watching Preachers of L.A. like the three of us?
They were joking.
Tiffany was on something
No,
else.
that was one of those passive aggressive things.
Yeah.
Like, she was she's like, ha, I did all that without a ring.
Right.
But they were jewelry shopping at a little vendor. Like, let's put it in context.
And let me tell you exactly what he said. I don't put rings on fingers. He said, I don't put jewelry on fingers. He said, from the neck.
From the neck.
I put it on the neck.
Because
got
they
it
were
on that.
shopping for jewelry.
No, what they were shopping for was something that does not go on her finger because that is freedom. That goes on her finger.
He's like, what's
I
on my
thought
finger?
that line
Freedom.
was definitely genius. So.
Yeah.
It was.
It was.
Like,
genius.
that's a great line.
It was his
But
poetic.
it's just so sad. And then here's the thing. Noel does tell her, he's like, we've been able to accomplish so much. And I had to write this. We can do positive things together without matrimony. And I was just
But
like,
they were laughing. Like, there were no tears happening. They were having a great time. I thought they were flirting the whole time.
it was really cute.
It was cute.
It was cute.
At first, I thought he was taunting her. You know what I mean? I thought he was just,
Right.
But he would never rub in her face that he's never going to marry her.
Are you kidding?
Why?
me?
Because
look,
he
okay.
doesn't have to. His actions rub it in
The
her
whole
face.
season rubbed it in her face.
But they were like happy. It was like, you love
Look,
me,
I
don't
don't know
you?
what show she was watching.
But look at how
Maybe
he said.
Housewives
She
of Atlanta,
said, look,
don't
she
you?
says that. She says Noel is he's in love with me. Who's in love with you? You are. And he's like, my thing is, if he was
lying.
really trying to, he'd be like, yes, girl, I am in love with you.
And
she
he would
wanted.
have said it out loud. And she
Exactly.
was trying to make
Oh my
him
God, you
Make
guys
him
are
say
trying to
it.
be
say
too
it.
serious. They were like jewelry shopping for some
look,
fake
but
jewelry
the thing
outside
is-
of the event.
But at the end of her little one-on-one, after all of that was done, she said, I'm going to wait. Like, her thing is, she's still, at the end of the day, she's going to accept that because she's taking what she can get with him, but at the end of the day, she still wants a ring. And it could be 20 years later,
Right.
That's
And
true.
I don't.
she's still going to be like, what's
the
up?
truth.
And
all
he's
of
still
it.
gonna be like, no, we got freedom, girl.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
I don't know. I don't really. I want to fault Noel for this because
can't.
you know that this woman doesn't want to. You don't want to be with her. You shouldn't lead her on. But he's not leading her on.
That's what I'm
And so I don't
saying.
feel
Not
bad
anymore.
for
Right.
her.
Right.
I don't feel bad for him. I kind of feel bad for her, but I really think that, she just needs to accept, like, okay, he's never going to marry me. That's cool. Like, I don't have a problem if she's okay with not being married to him.
I
Right.
think
Still
she
hanging
is.
out. No, she's not, because she wouldn't be talking about, I need a ring.
Exactly.
I feel like that's
Exactly.
She
she
knows that makes him uncomfortable. She gets a rise out of him. It's fun.
No, it's
I'm
not
curious
fun.
about what our audience thinks. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think he was joking on this last little episode? Because in her little interview, she did say Noel's going to be Noel and I'm going to be me. And I think she has come to terms with it.
She's
That's
come-
what she said at the end of last
She
season.
always says that. Of course,
That's her defense mechanism so
course.
she doesn't jump off the cliff.
she's always going to want more.
she's there.
But she's happy. They're happy. They had fun. They
my
were
God.
joking. It wasn't sour.
She is taking what she
Okay.
can get. That's not happiness. Taking what you should get. If I'm hungry, I want to eat till I'm full. But if I can only have 2 crackers, then I'm just going to take those 2 crackers because that's all I can eat.
You're going to
You see what
take
I'm
that
saying?
trust because you can't get love.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let us
and
know what
that's
you
she
think
said.
about crackers and love.
Let us know. Let us
and
know.
if Bishop Noel Jones is ever going to put a ring on Loretta's finger,
It's not going to happen. It's not going to
let
happen.
us know. Subscribe to our iTunes podcast. It's really easy. Just go to iTunes and search AfterBuzz TV, Preachers of L.A., and then our podcast will come up. Click subscribe. It's free, and you'll always get our podcast as soon as we post them for this season and for the upcoming seasons. Should there be another season?
Yes, I think
Should
it
there
will.
be
I
another
think it will.
New
I think
pastors.
Ron, this episode, had a coming to grips moment. He actually kind of humbled himself,
Right.
and he actually used the words, I need to mature. And he was talking about, because he ran into Loco and Sister Soldier that was there, came to the event kind of surprisingly. And he was kind of talking about, he's kind of apologizing again, saying, it was my bad, I came there, what have you. And he said that he needs to mature. And I thought that was good for him because I feel like, and he even brought up the Loretta situation. And I think, a lot of it came from his wife because his wife was kind of, pulling on him like, you need to let things go. You keep, holding on to things.
I like Levette.
Levette's good for him. She's definitely a good
Her
helpmate
kitten
for
heels.
him.
She's a little
Exactly.
robotic to me.
Really?
She's like always pouring
Stepford
tea
wife?
or dusting.
Like a Stepford wife?
Yeah.
She's like kind of boring
she's
and
kinda
plain, but
programmed.
I think, but that's what he needs. I think that's
what
why
he
they
need-
work
because he's so
well.
turned up.
Yeah.
He's so
Yes.
turned. He can't have nobody like him because they will fight
Right.
all the
Right,
time.
that's true.
So, what do you think about do you think that he was, in saying that, do you think he was sincere? Do you think he learned from his ways? Or do you think he was just kind of saying that because it sounds good?
Yeah, I think he realized that local dog was going to kick his butt. And he was like, oh, I don't want that to happen at Preach LA. So
he was trying to like, I was ready for you.
Yeah,
Did you see that? He was like, I was ready for you. I was
Such
gonna
an
do
old
this.
gangster.
bring your
though.
hand.
Shorts.
Such an OG.
Man.
You know what? One thing I will say, like, we're all allowed to have an opinion. I mean, we all have
Absolutely.
one. But I think it's when you put your opinion upon other people, that's when the problem happens. And so he says when he's talking to Lavette in the office that he didn't really want to do Preach LA, but he realized it's bigger than my feelings about
Yes.
working with these people who semi-shack. And then also he was like, and I didn't like when he was talking about the fact that Baby Denver's godparents was Loretta and Noel. He's like, but I won't say anything. And I'm like,
But you
what?
just did.
I knew he was going to have a
Exactly.
problem with that.
he should have.
Of course he was going to have a problem with that. That's his, I mean, and yeah, he should have stepped to the plate, but he did it because he's too busy.
And Lavette was so happy. She was like, "Oh, I think that's a good fit. That's their
Right.
pastor." And he was
Right.
like, "Well, I don't.
Right.
I'm not gonna say what I want to say."
It just
Rude.
turned me off, like this one episode, the last episode. It turned me off from Ron. It just really did.
Me too.
And I had that connection with him because, you know, I was raised Kojak and, you know, I know old school, but it's just like, it's a new day. Yes,
Right.
the Bible will still be the Bible and factual, and we should abide our lives by it. However, you know, you need to have a different type of mindset when you're approaching this new generation and just even, you know, the people in which you're leading, because it's not always going to be, you know, as hard-nosed as it was back in the day. So I just was like, boo. I
I kind of
just
felt the
But
same way.
you don't
like,
think he came? You don't think he came up
You
that
think he
though with
came
his
full
apology?
circle? No, like if he hasn't in that
need
show, I
365
think he has
days.
now. Like looking back on that, he's got to be embarrassed. The way he talked to
think
a
so.
woman
Right.
and made her cry with
Right.
such pointed words, and B, fighting at an event where he's supposed to be helping.
Anti-violence.
Like
pretty
who
bad.
does that? Pastor?
I think. But I
I'm gonna
think,
march all over you.
right.
And look,
Like, so I feel like he should be embarrassed a little bit
Yeah.
watching
Right.
that back. So I think some progress has had to have been made.
And I feel the opposite of you, Corrinne, because I think that I actually in this episode I liked him more, because I think the entire season I was just like, you are so judgmental, you're so like rude to people. But in this episode I feel like there is a humanistic point. He did say, I need to be more meek, I need to be more mature, and I need to stop putting my feelings out there. I just need to be more like Jesus. And I was like, you know what, that's what we've been trying to say this whole season.
Right.
Finally you get
It
it.
clicked.
it finally clicked, and I think I personally think it's good for him, and I agree with you. I think if he hasn't got there, he's got there now, because you have to see, and especially being in a leadership position.
well, let's
Right,
hope
right.
You
that
gotta lead
he's
by
got
example.
there now.
The person that I did have some issue with this particular episode was Miss Cheney.
Come say it, Lem. Yes.
So-
We're on one accord.
So, like, first of all, how old are you? Like,
I
no,
would've
no,
been
no, 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 no,
stopped.
no, no.
You can't say that to a bunch of
It's
women talking
his
about we can't
opinion.
cry.
Let me,
It's
no, no,
his
no,
opinion.
no.
Let him
Let me
finish.
explain. Let me explain.
Because I'm with you.
Let me explain.
Come
so
on.
I have nothing wrong with being emotional. I have nothing wrong with being disappointed in something. My issue is first of all, we talked about grown women at this, right? She's a grown woman with 3 children. She's a pastor's wife. You know, she supports her husband, all of that. This is her debut in some regard. You know, she's kind of coming out. She's got some new material she wants to display. My thing is, I felt like, and this is my issue with her episode, she lost the vision of what was going on for the event.
Right.
This was Preach LA. This was not Maisha turn up time, Maisha concert. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole time she was talking, she was like, oh my gosh, Dietrich's out there and he's doing so well and I got to follow him. Like, it wasn't like, oh, Dietrich's setting the tone and I'm going to come
Right.
follow. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So her heart, I felt like, was in the wrong place with everything that was going on. And then so when she gets out there and the music doesn't work, then she just loses it because she's not in the frame of mind that she should be for what was going on.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the problem that I have with her.
I understand that, but as a performer, Lem, like you've gotten on stage in front of people,
Yes.
like you can identify with the nerves she must have been experiencing to perform in front of that many people and then follow Dietrich Haddon in his circus.
I know, and again, and that's happened to me. I literally got up on stage one time and did a poem that I do all the time, and in the middle of it, dropped it, and I could not recover. And so I was hurt. I was devastated. However,
Did you cry?
I did not cry.
It's okay, Lem, if you did, we don't
My
talk about
heart
it.
cried. No, but the point was, I was there for a team. This was a team competition. It wasn't a competition for me. It was a competition for the team. At the end of the day, it was about the team. So I had to be like, okay, well, that's not going to happen again because I need to make sure I support my team. That's for the cause. I felt like for her, it was all about her and not about what was going on for the entire vision.
I agree.
Do you see what I'm saying?
And I don't think a good performer is based on how well you perform, but how well you recover. Because think about it, when Beyonce fell down them stairs, she got right back up and kept going. She didn't go,
Yes.
And that's what my heart was breaking as I saw Maisha be like,
My heart broke for her too.
And that's when I went, you know what? She's not even doing this for the right reason, because if you are, you'll start talking. Because that's when I was like, say something, Maisha. Praise God. You know what? We're just going to take a moment as they fix this music here. I just want to talk to y'all and let y'all know that God has given me this gift of singing. If your heart's in the right place, that flows.
That's not necessarily true.
It is
absolutely true. You guys are treating her like she's a veteran superstar. She's not a Beyonce.
But this is her platform. This is what she wants to do, right?
But
she goes to everybody's luncheon to practice for the big events.
And listen,
so she's questioning her.
Right.
Well,
this is what she's called to do.
And got back up.
Which also shows me that it's early on in this process for her. Like, she's still getting comfortable. She's still finding her voice. She's still, working out the kinks.
One-on-one.
But people,
you know this as an entertainer. You know this. We all know that. Just
you don't
keep
think
going.
Beyonce ever cried backstage?
Yeah, when she was sick.
Okay. Exactly.
Okay.
When it was
not
Destiny's
Matthew Knowles was her dad.
It was Destiny's toddlers when she was crying.
Infants.
Yes, exactly.
What's Maisha's brother's name? Keyshawn. There was a moment of Keyshawn and her coming out when she was waiting for that song to come in.
Let me tell you something.
Clap.
Her heart wasn't in the right place.
She could have sang Sparrow.
If you were singing for the right reasons, God gave you this gift to sing. If you're using this gift the way God intended you to use it, which is minister to people, then it doesn't matter if the music works or not. You can still make it happen. But she was so caught on, 1, 2, boom, cack. I need to hit my mark. And because of that, she forgot the purpose. And that's why when the music stopped, she was like, well, I have no purpose. What am I supposed to do? Maybe I should stop singing. Oh my gosh. Girl, get yourself together, because this is going to happen again, like DJ
And then also on top of that, to feel like because the music stops and doesn't work properly, now you maybe shouldn't be singing.
Right.
Like,
how you go from A to Z?
Exactly.
You guys are being so critical.
No.
Tiffany, what were you watching?
I can't believe the Williams sisters are not friends today.
Right. We're not in sync today.
She was watching Fix My Fire. I was like, what show was you watching?
I have sympathy for her because I can only imagine what it must feel like. Like, she's not a seasoned performer. And that probably was her first time ever having a technical difficulty before. And she was I would have been devastated. I would have been crying ugly face cry too.
You would have pushed through. No. You would not have cowered back. You would have pushed through. You would have said or sang something. And I think her main thing, she was just worried about them dance moves. I can't do my dance. No, you shouldn't be doing your dance in church.
And she was also intimidated by going behind Dietrich. Like, there was that whole thing playing.
But that's why I said that's why her mindset was not correct, because it does not matter who. If you know God has given you a gift, then you don't sit here and focus on somebody else's gift and say, "Oh my gosh, she's got a big choir.
But you act
really
like it's
great."
Never happened. You act like it's uncommon for her to feel the way that she did.
And that, you just have to understand, in the ministry, when you're in church, it's a different situation.
I don't know.
She's been singing her whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
In church, that is the biggest
stage.
And
this is a pastor's wife.
With the most judgmental people.
Come on now. This is a pastor's wife. Maybe she didn't grow up in church, but she's been with her husband alongside of him for some time.
Right.
You know about ministry. You know about what it is to have your heart in the right place.
Right. And I want to say that she's performed for bigger crowds than this. Last season, they did jazz on the beach or whatever.
Exactly.
And that's a bigger crowd, and she did fine.
She got nervous then too. We saw her frantic before that performance.
But I'm saying, so she's not new at this. She's been doing this a while. She's just now pushing her music out to the masses. But she's been performing, so she knows how this goes.
And she's doing something different. She's trying rock or whatever you say. So it's a new sound.
It's new. It's scary.
But again,
in the words of Ron Gibson, she ain't new to this. She ain't true to it either, apparently.
But for her to just be like, well, God doesn't want me to sing. That's when I really was like, girl, you better get yourself together.
But maybe she was PMSing, guys. Like, give her some benefit of the doubt. She could have been really emotional.
Please, honey.
I don't know. And then at the end, when she was like, but now I'm ready for the world. And I was like, no, you are not ready at all. Not yet.
For Kentucky.
Like, whoa. I'm from Kentucky, player. Don't even do
she
that.
She might be ready for Kentucky.
Don't even do bloop and bloop.
She just needs to stay doing luncheons.
And maybe
Cinnamon
that's
bun.
true.
Lunches.
Maybe this was too big for her.
Small.
No, she's done bigger events. It's not even about that. It's really just about her. She needs to figure out why she's singing. She needs to go
purpose.
back
Right.
to the purpose of what is your purpose to be singing.
All right.
So at the end of this event, we see all the pastors kind of coming together, and they're each kind of sharing words, kind of mini sermon, so to speak. Ron kind of takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
They kind of pull his coattails.
They always
he
talk too much.
It's so funny. But it sounded like the event went off pretty well. It's from what we see. So and I think it was good, whether for the sake of the show or just for the sake of solidarity in general, to have them all on the stage together, to have them all on one accord, kind of doing the same thing. And I think that's something that it's good to show the audience out there that people can work together even though they have differences, especially in ministry, because again, going back to what we've been saying,
The saints.
Is that a try right
no,
there?
no.
Try.
Excuse me. No, I'm including you, Corrine. No, but I mean, it's about ministry. It's about ministering to people. This is what they do. So that needs to make sure it comes first and foremost. So regardless of what your own agenda is, this is about ministry. These are the preachers of LA. LA is where they've been set. They've been called. So I think it's good that they showed that at the end.
I think that was a nice way to end it. However, my opinion about the last episode was lackluster. It was lackluster. I was really bored and my eyes were getting heavy as I was watching it.
It was definitely a little slow, and maybe that whole Maisha drama was cooked in, a produced moment because they needed
Something.
more.
That was messed up. If they did, that was messed up. If they intentionally messed her music up, she ain't strong enough yet to handle that. Why y'all gonna break her spirit like that? She like, I'm never gonna talk again.
Spirit broken.
I'm right. Like y'all so wrong for that if y'all mess her music up on purpose.
Oh,
Who
man.
knows?
So,
All in the name of
all right, so
entertainment.
the show's over. I just want to get, being that this is the last show, what are your thoughts overall on the season?
I'll say this. Let's just put it to rest, guys. I think we've seen everything we need to see from Preachers of L.A. I'm a little bored. I just feel like it's not, unless you're going to throw somebody super controversial in the mix, I
That's
just
what
think
they
they
need.
should leave it alone and let's praise the Lord.
So you
Fix
think they
my
should
choir.
end the season?
What?
I think they
mean,
should be done.
done,
I don't
period.
think no
Series
more
is
Preachers
over.
of LA. But I mean, we know that we're doing one in Detroit, right?
right,
So
right.
maybe that's going to be what's different now because I think Preachers of LA just needs to be laid
to
to
be
rest.
done.
Well,
thought it
if
was
it comes
good.
back, I mean, do we want to see the same cast or do we want to see a shakeup within the cast?
I thought
I
that
think
they
we need
did
to
a good
change.
job of keeping up some drama. For Preachers, it was a pretty
Right.
interesting show.
I'm just going to look at you for the rest. Everything else you say.
They could probably replace McLendon for Kevin Terry, maybe.
Oh.
See his little come up. That might be an interesting.
That might be interesting. I would watch that.
Horseshoe to throw in there. But Preachers of Detroit, I'm not excited about it.
Me neither.
I think it's because we just don't know
We don't
what's
know.
going to happen.
What to expect.
Yeah,
Right.
I think
I'm not excited
it's
either.
got to be better than this one.
You don't like this show.
I don't know.
No,
if it is.
I love the concept to show these preachers in a more humanistic form, so we don't put them on pedestals and think that they're superhuman. They're just
Right.
regular people.
Right.
And I like that concept. I just don't. I think LA has run its course, and I'm glad to see a new city, and I hope they move it around a little bit. Atlanta,
No, don't go to
Somewhere
Atlanta.
else.
I do not want to see
Houston.
blacks in Atlanta. I'm
No,
tired.
like
of it.
Houston, Dallas, some other city.
Some
No,
other cities.
I don't want to see it anywhere else.
I mean, it possibly could. I mean, I think for what it was, and I kind of agree with you to some degree. I think that it's kind of ran its course. It's been 2 seasons. I don't think there's much more you can do with this as far as this particular cast.
Right.
So I think going to other cities like Detroit or some of these other major cities that, have churches and have pastors that people know about and people are familiar with, I think it would lend itself to be something that people would want to continue watching.
And unless Bishop Noel Jones is going to put a ring on Loretta's finger, I really don't want to watch nothing else.
That's going to be like
Maybe
a show.
LA.
Maybe they get a spin-off show.
Maybe Dietrich should do, because I hear Fix My Choir is not that great of a show, so I don't think that's going to be
That's a
around. But
try.
maybe they should do Fix My Church, like he rehabs, because there's a lot of scandals going on in
yeah.
churches. So maybe,
But would he be the person to do that?
Ooh.
maybe he knows how to deal with scandal in the church.
I don't know. Just interesting. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. We want to
miss
thank you. Oh,
this is it, guys.
Oh,
Let's all hold hands. Hold hands. Stop being acting ugly.
My
Rebuke,
hands are
rebuke.
cold and clammy.
Okay. So, again, I'm Lem Gonsalves. As always, you can find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, @ThePoetSaint. Miss Lady?
You can find me, Megan Thomas, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Meg Scoop, and at your local church praying.
And you can find me on Twitter at Tiffs with a Z, tweets with a Z.
And I'm on Twitter at Just Saying 08 and Instagram Just Saying 1908.
All right. Thank y'all. God bless. Good night. We'll see you next time.
Bye. We love you. Hallelujah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.